Hello, my name is Mary.
And my name is Christine.
And we are sisters, and we are the hosts of the weekly podcast bringing you the freshest news straight from your television about Dawson's Creek. Brand new show. The actors in it are, young, fresh faces, and everyone's deeply invested in figuring out how this teen soap opera of sorts is going to play out. And we are here, your guess is as good as ours. We're here to try to figure it out. This week's episode is Uncharted Waters. My sister and I started this podcast as a way to de-stress from the grind of life and figure out what this show here is all about. So this week, Christine's going to take us through those uncharted waters to try to see what's new with Pacey. I wanted to do a rhyme, but it didn't come to me. It's late.
It is late. It is late, listeners. We're a little sleepy, but we're really thrilled to be talking with you about this episode. Yeah, and I'm going to kick it off. We are joined by our heroes, as we usually are, in Dawson's bedroom. And Dawson's chilling on his bed, doing some research, and Pacey is playing darts. And he's just hitting bullseye after bullseye. He thinks he found his destiny. Darts may be it. That could be Pacey's future right there. And this, of course, is going to come up again later in the episode.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing is definitely the term that their English teacher would teach them. Dawson is like trying to do some research to learn how to make a character more nuanced and more layered, which is good. I'm glad because the last we heard about his script, he was very proud of the emotional character development he managed to pull off, but he's not getting cocky. He's being a true artist and developing his craft further. Yeah, I thought that was good. And then they're talking, and I think it comes up at some point that they're going to go on a father-son fishing trip this upcoming weekend,
Hot.
which is plays into the Uncharted Waters title. But, Pacey, we've heard a little bit up to this point about how his home life is terrible. And we've met his awful brother, so Exhibit A there. But we'll get to meet his father, and Pacey is not looking forward to it.
No.
And I think at one point, and Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
they talk about something related to bouncing a basketball off of someone's head to make a point. Pacey said to make a point. And Mary, I was like, Dawson did that himself.
I know. It was a funny moment. I was like, huh? Yeah, he says that, so Dawson's researching father-son dynamics for his movie, and he names this movie, and they start talking about how the father-son relationship is very screwed up, and the father bounces a basketball on his son's head, and I was like, Dawson, you straight up slammed that basketball in your friend's face, and neither of you seem to remember it. Another case of selective amnesia. What I also thought was interesting about this scene is that we are in Dawson's room, but they're not watching movies. Dawson's researching a movie instead. So could this be a sign that Dawson is finally leaving the fantasy life and he's going to start living in the real world and trying to find some deeper meaning to who he is rather than just observing?
Ooh, that could be. It does fit the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
That is an uncharted water for Dawson, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So they're walking around on the street talking about this fishing trip, and I thought it was interesting because, well, Pacey's dad rolls up in the cop car, and he's all praise for Dawson. He calls Dawson a cinematic wunderkind, and he tells him, "Don't forget us when you're famous in La La Land," and thanks for looking after Pacey, and maybe you can keep him company in 10 years when you're famous and he's flipping burgers. And this clearly hurts Pacey's feelings, as it would hurt anyone's feelings. And Dawson's like, he was just kidding, blah, 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 blah. But it's interesting to me that, like, Pacey's dad seems to know so much about Dawson, because Pacey has always said, you don't know the first thing about my life. You don't know what my house is like. You don't know my family. But it seems that he does, to some extent, know him.
Yeah, well, I wondered maybe, I mean, if Dawson won this big Boston Film Festival, he was probably written up in the paper, so maybe Pacey's dad saw like a press release about it or a local article about it.
True.
So he could just be like, "Oh, that's impressive. My son will never achieve anything like that."
Nah.
Yeah, but I was
loser son.
I know. I was kind of struck by how Dawson just brushed it off. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've had that experience before where you're like with a parent's friend and they say something to you.
You mean with a friend's parent?
Yes, yeah, a parent's friend. Yes.
Okay, I was just trying to get it straight. I'm not calling you out. I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
know.
No, yes. A friend's parent, like you're with a friend and their parent says something like praiseworthy about you, and it always makes me feel super awkward.
Oh,
like even if the parent's not a jerk, like it just
you get a lot of praise from other people's parents.
Not a lot, but like I just remember because I was a good swimmer, as Mary knows.
Yeah, but what about me? I was a good swimmer too.
You were a good swimmer too, so yeah, this might have happened to you too. But I feel like this happened. I guess the one instance that made me feel the most uncomfortable was I was friends with this girl. And she wasn't, like, on a sports team. She wasn't, like, an athlete. She's very smart, a very, very smart person. But her dad, I think, wanted a kid with more athletic talent or something because he was kind of more athletic himself. And he would make, like, comments about that to me when I was there with them, but it always made me feel bad because I was like, "Well, your daughter is so smart, don't."
I'm so curious as to who you're referencing. So, what would you do in those instances?
I don't even remember. I just probably would say thank you and then be shy and awkward and quiet and be like uncomfortable. Like,
well, that's kind of like the D.
Well, I would never say to my friend, they're clearly kidding,
Yeah, but like, would this dad straight up insult your friend? Or would he just compliment you?
I don't remember him insulting my friend.
Right, so that's the difference,
I know.
Because I think if someone insulted...
extreme. It's like...
Yeah, but don't you think if someone insulted your friend, you'd want to kind of play it off because you wouldn't want them to feel worse?
Yeah, but from Dawson, it just seemed like he honestly thought it was a joke. He wasn't like trying to compensate for his dad. Like, oh no, your dad's joking. I don't know.
Well, D, he's clueless.
Right. It totally fits with D.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, stop being so oblivious.
Yeah.
Have
very fair.
Yeah.
Try it on for size.
Right. And I was curious, like, this is the first time we meet Pacey's dad. And yeah, not a great first impression.
Yeah, I was just going to say, first impression strong?
Yeah. I mean, I was upset. I was like, Mary, as I've said on the pod before, if you don't support your family, you're just a piece of shit.
It's
and
true.
I stand by it, yeah.
Listeners, it is true. We're not even asking this time. We know.
It's true. It's true.
You don't support your family. You're just a piece of shit. I just thought he was careless in his remarks and kind of a dodo head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought, I don't know. I think that this man, well, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack with him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
Because there are times where I feel like, oh, clearly he loves Pacey and wants what's best for Pacey. And then there are times where I'm like, he has a lot of internal struggles and hates himself, the father. And that's making it impossible for him to show love for anyone else. So I don't know. I need to see more of Mr. Witter before I can really diverge, because I feel like in pretty much every parent-child relationship, there's a moment where a parent says something that they think is funny that is deeply wounding to their child. And, 9 times out of 10, they think they are making a joke. But it's going to be something they'll have to bring to their therapist or their yoga teacher to talk about. So, I want to give Mr. Witter like a bit of the benefit of the doubt that, because he didn't come in and start smacking Pacey around, and you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But there's definitely, there's some bad messages being communicated.
Right. Yeah, and we know Pacey describes his home life as a living hell, and we kind of know
that's true.
how
he wanted to move away.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of know, like, it's bad. I'm curious to see how he treats Doug.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he's, like, treats Doug like Dawson or if he treats Doug like Pacey. I'd like to learn that. Hopefully we see that eventually.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be just add another layer, as Dawson's trying to do. Was that movie The Great Santini?
I think so.
Listeners, that's a good. I wonder, is that a real movie? Is it true? Should we?
I think it probably is.
I hope.
I don't think they would reference a fake movie.
Okay.
Because they've referenced so many real ones. Although they snaked us with Jarvis. So
I know. I was just thinking, like, Jarvis was a total left field.
And then they talked about the O'Keefe envelope and the power of a Degas. So
yeah, right. So, well, I'm gonna look it up. Or listeners, let us know, and maybe we'll rent it this weekend or stream it.
Let us know if it's any good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Dawson's room in the halls with Joey. And honestly, listeners, if you listened to the last episode, The Case of Who Done It, Who Got It On, you would know that Christine and I both, from the last episode where Dawson and Joey go walking away in the rain together, we thought that they were back together.
Totally.
Oops, they are not, and that was extremely confusing on the part of the writers. So D and J are not back together. And Dawson's just going on and on and on about what a great producer Jen is. Clearly, Joey's getting jealous, but doesn't want to come off that way. And she's like, wow, it's like a shame that Jen didn't do your last movie. It would have been so much better than it was with me. And Dustin's like, oh, no, that's not true. And then Jen rocks up, and he's like, oh, wait, your ears burning? We were just talking about how awesome you are. And I was like, D, chill. And then Jen's like, actually, I wanted to talk to Joey. And then Joey's like shooting her daggers, giving her such an unfriendly look that, like, if someone was looking at me like this, woo, I wouldn't go near them. But Jen's just like totally clueless. She's like, hey, so I was wondering if you wanted to do an interview with me and Gail later. And Joey's like, the heck? Who is Gail? Oh, you mean Dawson's mother? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna like shadow her and help her out at the station. And Joey's like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, we need some smart girls, and you're a smart girl. What did you think about this?
Yeah, it was the whole exchange was pretty interesting. I mean, Dawson, I didn't really think of this until you started talking, but it's like kind of like Dawson does to Joey, slightly, not exactly, but slightly what Pacey's dad does to Dawson and Pacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, a good point.
Talks up this other person. And Joey feels like crap, and Dawson doesn't really get it either. So Dawson's oblivion is really boundless.
Yeah. I mean, luckily he doesn't say to Joey, that she'll be getting coffees for film crews for the rest of her life.
No,
but,
I know. Thank goodness. He's not, like, insulting her. But...
Right. But
yes,
still.
clearly making her feel bad.
Yeah.
And brushing it off. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a big deal. And then, yeah, Jen... I mean, I give Jen credit for reaching out, and she's, like, she's honestly, like, complimentary to Joey.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, calling Mrs. Leary Gale. I'm with
Right.
Joey. I'd be like, Mrs. Leary. It's
Yeah.
not Gale.
Right. What,
It's
you
a
got a
little
first name
weird.
basis?
Yeah, like
Going out for martinis after work?
Go pick up some bobs.
Yep. Going
Yeah.
to the tie store for my man.
Oh my god. But then, yeah, like I guess we see who Jen invites. And like you're
Right.
inviting like this
Ugh.
quote unquote smart girls, but
Yeah.
I
Abby
don't know.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Please.
Why would Jen invite Abby Morgan? I mean, Jen knows
I don't
better.
know.
Right?
She should know better. It's like they're not friends.
No,
they hate each other.
Really,
Abby,
really.
in the last episode, was very close to hugely embarrassing Andy. Really butted her nose into all three of their business. I mean, if I was Jen and I was trying to impress Mrs. Leary, would I invite someone who constantly calls me a hoe? Absolutely not.
No, my goodness. Yeah.
My
Even if-
goodness.
Even if she's like, oh, she took the F for us.
No.
I still would be like, yeah, you can't come.
Don't stake your reputation on her.
Yeah, that wasn't a wise move on Jen's
No.
part. Also, not very
Ridiculous.
savvy to pit like people that uncomfortable around each other together and expect like good
Yeah.
conversation, easy, natural conversation. So it's no
Very
surprise
true.
it flopped, you know.
Yeah.
Although it's good that the show did that instead of them being like, "Oh, I forgot that we're fighting."
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean
They're
that would be
always
ridiculous
fighting.
if they went that
Right.
far. Yeah,
But they did kind of forget that they're fighting because she invited her.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what are you thinking? That's dumb.
That's stupid.
Um,
So the boys are getting ready for their fishing trip. Mitch is super turned on by the idea of a life at sea.
yes.
He's like, wow, like it's so romantic. I'm getting a little hot. And Dawson's like, oh boy, and he's like going up to Pacey just to check in, and who comes stumbling from behind? You know,
oh my
out of
god,
nowhere.
so klutzy.
The klutzy Magoo. It's Jack.
So
Why?
over the top, Mary. It's so over the top.
That's
the
really, it's so camp. And why? Why is he invited?
Yeah. I mean, we learn like from Pacey later that you know, I guess Andy has asked him to spend more time with Jack because
Why?
Jack's, well, I guess it sounds like is struggling to make friends.
He's got Joey.
He has Joey. Maybe she wants him to have some more male figures because it's just him and the mom and Andy at home. But I don't know. And I guess like since their dad is out of the picture, Pacey thought,
This would just make him more sad to
spend
come on a
some time
father-son
with
week, you know?
Yeah, I know. I was trying
And
to
it's
think
awkward
like
for everyone.
like,
Like, Andy
why?
knows that Dawson and him don't get along.
yeah. I don't know if Andy asked specifically for him to go on the fishing trip or just like, oh, generically do stuff with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember what Pacey said, but I was wondering, I was trying to figure out like why would Pacey choose this trip and why would he he may have honestly forgotten not to tell Dawson,
Yeah.
but maybe it was a conscious choice and why if it were.
I mean, part of me is like even more confused by the Pacey Dawson friendship than I am by the other friendships because like all Pacey and Dawson do is Pacey says mean things to Dawson. Like Pacey's always like, you don't understand, you're spoiled, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I can't remember the last time I actually saw Pacey and Dawson getting along and having fun.
Oh, Man, it's kind of true.
You know, like Pacey's always annoyed at Dawson lately. And it's
Yeah.
like makes me sad because like I like their friendship, but it's kind of dissolved.
Yeah. I guess they don't have. I feel like the last time we saw, that I can remember anyway, that I saw them have like a kind of step forward was at that birthday party
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Right, and that
It
was a long time ago.
it was of like season one, I want to say. Yeah. And it
Yeah,
was
and
the
now that
same
Pacey's
problem, like the same issue as Dawson's oblivious.
well, yeah, and I mean the same issues keep getting explored. Like there's all this crap with Joey and Jen that I'm like, just stop having this. You're having the same conversation every episode. It's
Yeah.
like I don't care anymore. You two don't get along, and just leave it at that. Like you're not going to get along ever. You don't fit. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
be friends. Like it's just it's fine. It's fine to not like people and not be friends with them. So
Right. And it seems like that's kind of what this episode is trying to get at. Like Jack and Dawson have that moment where Jack's like, "We don't have to be friends, but I would love it if we
mm-hmm.
were," something along those lines.
Right.
Dawson's really not interested. Like he's like, "No, you stole Joey. I don't want anything to do with you." He calls
Yeah,
him
and
my nemesis.
how can Jack think that he would want to Dawson would want to be his friend after he said I kissed Joey and I'd do it again? It's Mr. Steal Your
Yeah.
Girl all over the place. Like, what is he thinking? Of course, he doesn't want to be his friend. It's like,
I
oh
know.
yeah, here's my other eye, so you can take both. No.
I know. That's crazy. And why would Jack even want to be Dawson's friend?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
why?
want to be friends with my girlfriend's ex. No one does.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
weird. And like with at least with Jen and Joey, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
remember towards the end, like Jen starts to rehash their past, and Joey's like, "I'm not interested in talking about the past anymore." So I was like, "Well,
Yeah,
that's
she
a good
says that,
sign."
but
Yeah. But it remains to be seen. As long as Dawson's in
yeah.
the picture, if they can actually move past it. I mean, they
I mean, I
do.
don't think they can with the D there.
Yeah, like when it's just the two girls, they do kind of have those moments where, like, yeah, they could be friends. Like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
real understanding. There's like respect there. But yeah, when Dawson's thrown in the mix, all bets are off, which is kind
And
of
it's
annoying,
like let's
honestly.
fight over this. Let's fight over this D.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh man.
Yeah. So Jack is like klutzing it all over. He's like, oh, I guess my secret's out. They don't exactly call me Ishmael.
Yeah,
I was
I
thinking of
gotta
you
shout
there.
out. I gotta shout out because I love listeners. My favorite book is Moby Dick. Love it. Um, and Mitch's whole spiel about loving the sea is
Yeah.
is basically how Moby Dick starts. I mean, "Call me Ishmael," of
Hmm.
course, is the first line, but then it just launches into how like, oh, if I'm on land too long, I just yearn for the sea, and people all over they flock to the shore, and there's something about the water that moves all of humanity, and it goes on for pages. But it's
Mm.
basically a love letter to the sea, and I was like, oh, Mitch, you're feeling like Herman Melville. So
Yeah.
I was happy about that. And then Jack or Dawson or whoever dropped the Ishmael, and I was like, yes, thank
And
you.
Dawson's like, yeah, I read it. And I'm like,
I
doubtful.
know. I was like, yeah, I don't think so,
It's a
Dawson.
long ass book.
If you read it, you would be gushing about it. Maybe
Eh.
not.
So Dawson's like, wow, it's really, I'm really amazed by how confident you are that you would leave your new girlfriend alone for a whole weekend when now, you're just starting to see each other and you're starting to get comfortable and now's the perfect time for some new artsy guy to just swoop in and steal her away. I'm like, ooh, Dawson, tell us how you really feel.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's very honest, but pretty confrontational.
Yeah. I mean, is it honest? I mean, Joey's not going to run around and meet someone new.
Oh,
It's kind of passive aggressive, to be honest.
emotionally honest, I guess, for Dawson's point of view.
I guess.
But it's not. Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we're gonna be in for a bumpy ride on this boat.
Yeah, it's the real action.
Yeah, and I mean, Pacey's dad sets it up. He's like, listen, you're not on a carnival cruise. We're here to win a trophy and catch the biggest bass. Okay?
Yeah, he's no nonsense.
He's no nonsense. And he starts splitting them up into teams, and Pacey's like left out. He has nowhere to be. And the dad's like, oh, well, you're going to be doing all the labor and work.
Yeah, you have to deal with the bait and do the grunt work.
It's like,
thanks, Dad.
That's real rude.
Yeah. You don't want Jack on the... I mean, he's so klutzy. Come on.
Yeah, for real.
You saw him fall onto the boat, basically.
Oh my god, yeah, he could barely walk.
He's terrified to take off his life vest. You know, it's not a good person to have manning a fishing rod. I don't know.
No.
But Pacey's dad doesn't care. He's like, as long as it's not Pacey, fine.
Ugh, ridiculous.
Yeah, terrible.
So then, back at the girls' house, I mean, they're really segregated this episode, girls versus boys.
It's totally, battle of the sexes.
So back with the girls, like you said, no one's talking to each other, they're too uncomfortable. So Gail's like, let's turn this into a ladies' night. And the feeling's right. And no drinking, but I got a lot of junk food. And the girls are like, yeah, give me the Hershey's Kisses. And they just start eating junk. And they're like, you know what would be really fun? Panty raid. And they go up to Dawson's room. Well, this is Abby's idea. And she wants to just, snoop around through Dawson's room. I don't know where Gail is during this. She must, go to use the restroom or something. So they go up to Dawson's room.
Maybe she had to go buy more snacks.
Oh my god, maybe. She had to do some alcohol drinking with the cameraman in the other room. So yeah, they're like, Abby wants to snoop around Dawson's room, but I'm like, I don't know why the other girls want to, because they all are always hanging out in Dawson's room, and surely they know it. They're always sometimes in there when he's not even there.
Yeah, Joey is very intimately familiar with the closet.
Yeah, I don't think they need to really snoop.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. I think maybe they're just bored and we don't want Abby to be there by herself, or...
Yeah, maybe they're kind of hiding stuff from Abby, too. It's possible.
But they do seem to be snooping, genuinely. So,
yeah, I mean, they lock Abby in the closet, and then what does Andy find, Christine?
Oh, Goodwill humping. Everyone's favorite porno.
Do the Humpty Dump.
Oh my god.
And then they pop it in.
Yeah, they just launch it right off.
Watching a porno together in Dee's room with Gail and a cameraman outside the door.
Mary, did you hear Abby's comment about the cameraman's she likes his angle, if you know what I mean?
Ooh, I actually couldn't tell what she was saying.
Yeah, it's the same thing Chris said. She's got a hot little angle.
She's got a hot little angle. Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey.
What does it mean?
Yeah, it's a Dawsonism. Got a hot little angle on you. I don't know.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, your camera must be so heavy. And he's like, yeah, not really.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's not that really heavy. But yeah, so the girls are really entertained by this film. Mm-hmm. And Andy, of course, in all her innocence, Abby makes some comment like, oh, where this film begins, Dawson finishes, or something. And Abby's like, what do you mean? They all go down the line.
But Andy's had sex. Come on.
Yeah, true. It's like, come on, Andy. You know what it means.
She's no virgin.
They say my favorite one. I only wrote down the one, but he's shaking hands with the unemployed. It's another great way to say is walking the dog. Ooh.
I know. I was like, how come no one said walking the dog?
Yeah,
that's clearly everyone's favorite made-up phrase for masturbatory behavior.
So funny.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Shaking hands with the unemployed is pretty good too. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then Andy's like, I get it. And then they're all swirling around, and who opens the door but Gail?
Yeah. And, Andy jumps up, turns it off, tries to pretend they're
Mm-hmm.
watching something for their school anatomy class. And
Right.
Gail's like, oh. And then Abby's like, no, we weren't. We're watching a porn that Dawson had in his room. He's
He's a
like,
pervert.
yeah. I have to tell the truth because I have morals. And
Oh my
it's like,
god.
of course, Abby, stirring the pot. But Gail is just like, all right, let's get out of Dawson's room. Like, enough.
Yeah, and then Jen decides it's a perfect time to rehash all this same old shit that they rehash every single episode. So she's like, I just can't understand why you're being so hostile to me in every single episode. And Joey's just like, maybe you're just defensive because I won or something like this. And it's just like ridiculous, back and forth, always the same thing. And I'm sick of it, basically.
Yeah.
And Jen's like, you're insecure. And Joey's like, no, you're insecure. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, basically,
You
teen
both are.
girls are insecure. Jen wants friends. Jack wants friends. People want friends. And
Joey and Jen want D.
yeah. Everyone's got an ego. And it's all
Yep.
bruised.
Oh my god.
But they're
and Joey's
really recharting waters they've been through before. It's not like it's uncharted.
So many times. And then Joey's like, stop encroaching on what's mine. First you try to date Dawson, now you're his best friend and his producer, and now what, you're like friends with his mom all of a sudden too. Like, what's next? You're gonna get a job at the ice house to take up watercolors. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, fair play, Joey. Like, if someone was really trying to like steal that much of what Joey considers to be her identity, then yeah, I'd be annoyed too. But at the same time, she's the one who decided she did not want D. So
yeah, I mean
know.
that's the issue I have too. It's like, well, Joey, yeah, make up your mind. Like, if you don't want him, other people are allowed to have him.
Right.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
No.
And I don't really feel like Jen is trying to be Joey. Like, Jen's still herself. It's just
and it seems like
yeah.
Jen is actually interested in working in film, whereas Joey was only ever doing it to get close to D.
Right. Yeah, Jen is. I mean, she's doing the thing with Gail out of her own initiative. She's apparently rocking it at being a PA.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. And I don't see her taking up art, but we'll see. Maybe she will next episode.
Well, yeah, I don't. You never know. You know.
You never know. If she learns that you can draw naked men, ooh,
Ooh, girl.
That's an Abby style comment. Sorry, Jen.
Oh my god. So meanwhile, on the boat.
Back on the boat.
What's going on? Jack got a bite.
Oh, Jack!
He got a bite on his fishing rod, but of course he doesn't know what to do with it.
No. Doesn't the dad get the first bite?
No, Jack gets it, and then the dad, Pacey tries to do it, but the dad takes it from him.
Oh, okay. Man, Jack's got both of the bites. Wow.
Yeah, he got both bites. And then the dad loses the fish, and he starts screaming at Pacey because the other rod is on the other side of the boat. He's like, you just do as I say, don't ask any questions. And I'm like, you suck balls, man. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
That's
telling
not
him
cool.
not to think. I was like, come on.
Yeah, don't think, just do.
That is like, okay, I'm going to go on a little rant, but I feel like that is your whole job as a teacher, as a parent, as whatever. You have to teach that person to think for themselves critically. Because if you can do that, you can get through anything. Like, you can solve problems, you can be resourceful. You can, you don't need to know every fact. If you know how to think and reason, you'll be okay. Like, you'll be successful even. So, you know what I mean? If you're just teaching someone to follow directions blindly, they're not going to be able to function in society on their own.
No, they won't.
They're not going to be a good person.
Well, they'll be a cog in the wheel.
Yeah, they can never have an independent life, and it's sad.
No.
So, yeah, -1 for the dad again.
Yeah. And then Dawson confronts Pacey and he's like, listen, man, why the hell did you invite Jack? Why didn't you give me a warning? Which, like, I very much see where Dawson's coming from, because this is like a trip that he's taking with his dad that, you know, we can't forget, Dawson also doesn't get to spend a lot of time with Mitch. So this is a big weekend for him too. And I'm sure he'd rather that this guy who humiliated him and stole his girlfriend weren't there, because who knows what's going to happen in front of his dad. And I'm sure he just wants to spend some time alone with his best friend without this other guy who, you know, is kind of encroaching on his friendship with Pacey.
Right. Yeah, I totally get why Dawson's upset. Totally get it.
And then Pacey's just like, screw you. I was like,
yeah.
Wow.
But, well, Dawson had really bad timing again, though, because
yeah.
Pacey's dad just yelled at him.
Yeah.
And, you know, berated him, made him feel bad. And then Dawson immediately is like, Pacey, what are you thinking? Why did you do this?
Yeah, right.
And Dawson's
right.
like, have some perspective. Or Pacey's like, have some perspective. Yeah. And it's the same. I feel like this, you know, Dawson and Abby are kind of like a little bit of doppelgangers in this episode. Kind of like how Jen and Jack are in a way. Like, we can get to it later, but like, you know, like they have problems. It's not like they're like golden children, but their only real problem is that their parents are divorced. And I don't know, when we were in school, I mean, our parents are like the parents that still hold hands and everything. So they're, you know, like they have a great relationship. But like, I had friends whose parents got divorced and it was dramatic. Like, it was a big deal. So they were kind of like the ones with the drama. But the show is kind of setting it up like, oh, your parents are divorced, you're lucky. Like, that's...
Yeah, get over it.
Good.
Which I have a problem with. Like, just because you don't have it the worst doesn't mean that you don't have pain. Doesn't mean that what you're feeling is invalid. And especially in this episode, I take umbrage because everyone just keeps telling, hey, it could be worse. But you know what? Some kid who is in an orphanage could go up to Jack and say, it could be worse. At least you have one parent. Someone whose father physically abuses them could go up to Pacey and say, hey, it could be worse, suck it up. You know, so it's like, I hate it when people try to invalidate each other's pain. Like, all the pain is there. Don't try to disqualify someone else's hurting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's wrong with, like, a lot of humanity right now. People are just trying to one-up each other, like, no, I'm the most oppressed. No, I have it the worst. No, it's the worst for me.
And then they don't listen to each other, which is what's happening, you know, with all the characters.
Yeah, I feel like at the end you kind of get like a little bit of reconciliation with Abby and Andy. But yeah, it's frustrating. And I guess like I do kind of agree though to a point about how if someone who clearly does have it worse, at least in that moment, like they just got yelled at by their father, I wouldn't say it's okay to go up to that person and expect them to empathize with the pain you're going through that is, like, considerably less important. So I think there's two sides to it. Like, you have to be considerate. But yeah, like, everyone is suffering. Everyone's going through something. And don't make it a pissing contest.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't... Where it really struck me was when they're at the bar. And Dawson's trying to talk to, like, things have calmed down between the dad and Pacey, and Dawson's, like, trying to make a joke, and he's like, oh, like, we better be careful and not stay here too long, because my dad's gonna decide he wants to open a bar because he doesn't know what he's doing with his life. And Pacey's just like, why are you complaining about your dad? And it's like, come on, like, let him make a joke at his dad's expense, like, everyone does that. And then immediately Jack just berates Dawson. Is like, Mr. Witter's always complimenting you, like blaming Dawson for it. And it's like, well, what is Dawson supposed to say? Like, hey, adult, stop being nice to me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Dawson's in a bad situation here. I don't know. So this is like really where it kind of struck me.
Yeah. But Dawson, he does say, like, tell me whatever it is you have up your ass.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Well, Pacey's being hella moody.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, everyone's just, like, tense.
In their feelings.
No one really is having a good time or wants to be there. And they just want to get along, but they just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it eventually, like, they're at the bar hanging out, and they all kind of, like, drift off back to the boat until it's just Pacey and
Mm-hmm.
his dad left.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Pacey's dad is a bit of a drinker because he's wasted at the bar.
Yeah.
And he's playing darts and he sees that no one else is there. So he's like, all right, Pacey, well, you and I can play. It's like last
Yeah.
resort. Great. Um, and it seems like actually, like, I was like, oh, that they're having like good banter. They seem to be enjoying each other right now. Like, it seemed all right in the beginning, like friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got really intense really quick when Pacey
Yeah.
was doing well, and then the dad hit a really good shot, and then it was Pacey's turn, and he was like really being like, "Let's see what you got," but staring him down, like
Right. Yeah.
daring
Super
him to do a good
competitive.
job. Yeah. So Pacey throws it, like, purposefully misses, and the
Mm-hmm.
dad, the situation diffuses. Like, I could kind of see, like, if Pacey did well, he would have gotten punched or something.
Right.
Or the dad would have lost it. But the dad was fine, had some more to
But why?
drink. What?
But like, why?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it comes back to the insecurity. It's like the teen girls are insecure. The dad's got to be pretty insecure if he's putting that much stake on a dart game with the son that he thinks is useless.
You think
You
you're better than
know?
me? Yeah.
So I feel like he's just like projecting all of what he feels about himself onto his son, which
Yeah.
is interesting. Like,
Well.
I've known people who, and I don't know if like Pacey and this guy don't look too much alike, but like there's this person I know who had two twin daughters, and the
Christine,
one
you're going in with all the real world shit right now.
I know. Well,
Usually
I know
this is me and you're dropping the truth bombs.
I'm just kidding, and it's funny because I thought I would be more like close-lipped after we listeners, we announced this on our Facebooks. After we got iTunes official, we were like, all right, time to tell the world we're doing this. Like people we know in real
who
life.
I've mentioned in this podcast.
Yes, yeah. So I thought I would be like, oh, I won't tell as many personal stories, but I'm like really not.
Now you're telling more.
that. I'm telling more. But this one I think is pertinent, and I know this person's not going to listen to the pod. But two twin daughters.
Never say never, Christine.
Okay, well, if they do, they should hear the story. Like have some self
From
awareness.
your perspective.
Yeah, just take a look at yourself. The one daughter looks more like the mom. The other one looks exactly like him, like the father.
Mm-hmm.
And he is so much harder on that one. So
Wow.
much more critical. Like and could be because reminds him of himself and has some negative feelings about himself that he's taking.
So
out
these
on
are
her.
twins and they don't look alike? They look like their parents?
No, they're fraternal twins.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just me. I'm being like Jen, like an armchair psychologist. But yeah, I just kind of feel like if he's an alcoholic, if he's so nasty to his son, he's got to have some issues, like you said in the beginning.
But it's odd that he's close with Doug.
I'm curious to see what he's like about Doug. Yeah.
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 It's intriguing for sure. I mean, that's a great theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's over the top. It's unnecessary, and it's weird as well. I don't know what else to say. It's weird.
And then and it's sad because like
with his son.
Yeah, he's competing hardcore, and then Pacey.
Christine, I have this memory of playing checkers with Grandpa, with our grandfather, and he would never let us win at anything because he wanted us to like learn that it's hard to win a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was playing checkers with him and I kept losing, and I remember Dad walking into the kitchen and be like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, we're playing checkers." And he's like, "Why are you like beating her so badly?" He's like, "I'm not gonna let her win." And Dad's like, "Come on, just let her win." And I'm like, "I'm right here. Like, don't let me win."
Aww.
I don't know. It was interesting though. It was just kind of funny to see the two different perspectives on like what the best way to play a game with little kiddies.
Aww.
My dad would let me win, apparently, and my grandfather would not.
Grandpa wouldn't. It's good to have balance, I think.
Right. Yeah.
This episode did make me think about our grandfather-granddaughter fishing trips, too.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. Those were fun.
It was fun.
We wouldn't really be competitive at all. We would just, put the worms on.
No, we each took
eat a
turns
sandwich.
catching the one fish in the pond.
Yeah, maybe catch one.
We seemed to always each catch the exact same fish. But it was fun. We had like salami sandwiches and hang out on the boat. It was a good time.
Have a soda.
But we had a rowboat, not a fancy.
No, yeah, we were in the rowboat. That was
Yeah,
fun.
no real action for us.
No.
But yeah, I felt bad, like, well, I was also admiring Pacey again, like, he's also acting heroic, because he's like, he recognizes if I let my dad win, it'll make him happy, it's also will be better for him, like, it'll diffuse the situation, so he does that, and then when the dad gets wasted, Pacey walks him home and makes sure he gets back okay. Pacey's really doing the parenting. He's taking care of the dad, but then the dad is taking care of him. And then it's sad, like, as soon as the dad's passed out, Pacey, like, has his fantasy conversation he wishes he could have when the dad were sober and awake, where the dad takes a real interest in his life.
Christine, we're skipping a lot, but okay.
What's that?
We skipped a ton. But maybe we
this
can just
happens
talk
right after the bar.
I know, but we're skipping all the stuff at Dawson's house with the girls.
We're
skipping all the stuff between Dawson and Mitch. Okay, we'll go back. We'll finish the Pacey storyline and then we'll go back. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think we have to always go sequential. But anyway, yeah, he has that conversation in the beach, and I thought that was pretty touching because he's just, showing like what he really needs and what he wants and what he's never going to have.
Yeah, I mean, he has clearly been bottling up everything for so long, and he's just desperate to have his dad say something to him where he can be his true self, and it just never comes, and he's only be able to be his true self, and his dad's passed out, blacked out, and he just spills his guts, and he's like, I might go to college, Dad, like, I have an amazing girlfriend, Dad, like, when did you give up on me? And then he just starts sobbing, and he's like, it's your job to love me, and I can't do this on my own, and it's very, very sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
So you said you want to go back to Dawson's house?
Well, I mean, there's some other things that are happening sequentially, like with the girls and with Dawson and his dad, so I guess we'll stay with the boys for now, but Dawson's really worried about his father, and again, Dawson's kind of being the parent, and he's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about, your relationships? What are you going to do about your job? He even asks him, are you okay for money? Like, that is something that a parent asks a kid, not a kid asks a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I want you to get your priorities straight. Like, you should get a job. You shouldn't be out fishing. Like, it's crazy. Like, Dawson's really being the dad. And then Mitch says this monologue that's kind of like something out of an 18-year-old's mouth. And he's like, there must be something that I can put my heart and passion behind. And I can't stop looking until I find it. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine on paper. But what is Mitch really doing to find his passions? Nothing that I see.
Yeah, I know. That's weird about him. It's like he had that restaurant dream, and that seemed to kind of still be a thing when he was looking for real estate, but after the divorce, I don't think it's really a priority anymore. I mean, I get he's totally feeling lost right now, like, your whole life changed.
Yeah. But it seems like he's never had a job.
Yeah, no, I know Gail was the breadwinner, definitely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing for money. But I think it's good that he still wants a relationship with his son. So
oh, yeah.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
Right. But he is kind of just like a big kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's sad to see Dawson's worried about him actively. And then, Jack is like, Dawson runs into Jack on the deck of the boat. Jack is like sleeping. And Dawson's like, I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to be your friend. I've had enough drama for one day. And Jack's like, oh, it's not that. I'm seasick. And then Dawson again is like, what do I care? And then somehow they start talking about their fathers, and Jack's like, I don't have a father, like, he's gone. And Dawson's like, yeah, well, I can relate. And Jack's like, it's not the same. Your father moved up the street and my father's gone. Try and put that in perspective. And it's like, okay, I guess Dawson's not allowed to be upset about the divorce at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this episode it was like interesting about how they deal with the divorce. It's almost
Yeah.
like I said before, it's like the best case scenario,
Is a
which is
divorce.
interesting. But I feel like, yeah, like if like I'm not a child, we're not children of divorce, but if we were, I wonder if that might be kind of like, I don't know, it might be interesting to watch. Like, maybe Kevin Williamson's parents, listeners, you could tell us this if it's true. If his parents are divorced or divorced when he was a teenager, if he felt like it was the worst thing ever, and then looking back thinking, well, maybe if someone told me when I was a teenager it's not the worst thing ever, that would be useful for me to see.
Possible.
So I was wondering that, because it's really like Abby describes it as boring. She's like, my
No.
parents are divorced and it's so boring. It's like, wow, I've never seen a show call it boring.
Right.
So it's just different. Yeah, I was just kind of like
Yeah.
interested by it. But it's still obviously very painful for both Dawson and for Abby. And
Right.
yeah, like Abby, like I don't know, I thought it was weird that they all slept over anyway. Like it didn't seem like that was the initial plan. And it's like, all right, impromptu
Where?
sleepover at Dawson's with Gail.
Oh, yeah, well, you're skipping. So Abby, when they're still doing the interviews, Abby, she can't stop interrupting everyone and, like, giving her opinions. And she's just, like, spilling everyone's drama. And Gail just cuts her off. And she's like, listen, I've had enough. And you need to leave. And she's like, you're kicking me out? And she's like, yeah, sorry, good night. And she's like, what kind of a reporter are you? Oh, wait, that's right. A bad one who sleeps around or something like that. And then she's basically kicked out of the house. And then, yeah, all the girls sleep over, which is kind of weird because earlier in the episode, Gail's like, let's make it a ladies' night. And Abby's like, well, I don't want to be here all night. So it's just weird. And yeah, they do spend the night. And when Andy's going to leave in the morning, she runs into Abby on the front lawn.
Yeah, like Abby just stayed there because she didn't. I guess her mom. Well, maybe her mom had known she was staying over, so maybe it was originally planned. But it didn't seem like anyone had a change of clothes.
Well, yeah, and then why would Abby say, I'm how long are we going to be here? That's what she says. How long am I supposed to be here?
Yeah,
So,
like it
just
seemed
seemed
like
like
it was
another
just going to
thing.
be a quick, let's talk about teenagers and go home, not spend all night together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know like why she couldn't just call her mom and say, hey, can you pick me up now? Whatever the deal was there. But she decided to stay outside on the chair or like come back inside. You know,
just asked to use the phone.
yeah. Or just like asked to sleep on the couch. Something.
Yeah, it's crazy to be sleeping outside.
Yeah.
Although it's always springtime in Cape Side.
Right. Yeah, we know she didn't freeze to death in the New England winter.
They never have any seasons.
No. Yeah, I felt bad for her there though too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Her and Andy, like we said, they did kind of, see each other and want to help each other a little. So that was good.
Yeah, it was nice. And then Abby's mom pulls up at the perfect moment and gives them both the ride home, which is nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
But
Abby was
also
like, "Oh wait, maybe you need
convenient.
a ride. Let's." So
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see a new side of Abby, or if
I don't
maybe she's just
know.
sleep deprived.
Yeah, I feel like it could have just been she was worn down. 'Cause, well, we saw her with the F. She did take the F.
The F. Oh, yep.
Yeah, so she's changing, but I
Right.
don't know. It's probably a long journey. I kind of like her
Mm-hmm.
feistiness anyway. It's fun to watch. Like, she does
Yeah,
play an important role. I do love to
she
hate her,
does.
so
Yeah.
don't worry, Abby. I'm with you. but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't
And then
know.
Joey
Maybe.
and... No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, maybe she'll actually strike up a friendship, but I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know if she can change that much. We'll see.
yeah. So, Joey and Jen rehash it all again. Could not be more bored by the storyline. Joey apologizes. She says that she respects her the most, and that's why she's competitive with her. And I just want them to stop pretending like this friendship is gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, Joey's even like, let's not talk about the past. Like, I'm bored of
But
it
it's like,
too.
why do you respect her? Like, I doesn't seem
Well,
like you
it kind
respect
of
each
came out
other.
a little bit in their interview because they all got really personal. And
Mm-hmm.
When Joey talked, she was kind of saying how, like, oh, I'm a small town girl. Whenever someone has more experience than me, it intimidates me.
Mm-hmm.
And it threatens, like, my identity. And she kind of, like, was saying to Jen, like, it's not that I just can't stand you, it's that I'm a little threatened by you because
Yeah,
you
but
have
that's
more
not the same as
experience than I have.
respect.
Well, I think it's something it speaks to something that Joey admires. Like if she's threatened by not having a lot of experience, I think she's also kind of saying like I would like to be more experienced. I would like to be more
Mm.
worldly and have a richer perspective to draw from. Um, and Jen does have that, so she might just be a little jealous, but I think she's not like saying like Jen, like I feel like when Abby does it, she's like, "Oh, Jen, you're just like a skank. You've been
Mm-hmm.
around." But Joey's like, "Well, that's not the whole story. Like I respect that you've
Right.
lived. It's just like
Yeah.
seeing it for something more than shallow Abby."
Yeah, so, well, I mean, we'll see if this friendship finally takes flight after 5 months of arguments.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's like what you hear some people say, like you don't have to like me, but you will respect me. So maybe they'll just agree to respect each
that's
other.
like a dad thing to say.
Yeah, not they won't bother with liking.
Another father-son relationship happening.
Father son wisdom. Yeah.
Oh my god. So, like back on the boat, Jack, he gets another bite. And this time he's asleep when it happens. Pacey's dad Pacey's dad wants to roll in because he wants to be the center of attention, but Pacey beats him to it. He starts coaching Jack on what to do, staying very calm. Then Jack's eventually like, man, I can't do this. You do it. Just take it. Pacey takes it, and he reels that sucker in, and he gets a huge ass bass, right?
Yeah, it's like
Or a
real
trout. I don't
action.
know what it is, but it's
I don't
big.
know. It looked funny because it looked like when the fish was first pulled out of the water, it was different than the one that Pacey
Yeah.
pulls up.
Yeah, and I noticed that in the dart scene too, that every time it was like a continuity error. Every time they cut to the dart scene, it was like a different configuration of darts.
Oh my god, really? That's funny.
Yeah, it was like there were two on the bullseye, and then there was one, and that like they're just it was funny.
Oh my god. I did notice Pacey's left-handed for the first time.
I didn't
It's like
notice that.
when he was shooting the darts, I was like, I think he's left-handed.
Oh, that's cute.
I know. It
I love
fits.
Pacey.
Left-handed
Um,
Pacey.
oh. So anyway, he's like so happy. He's like thrilled.
Yeah. He got this picture taken.
Yeah, that was cute. And
I
then he
love
gets a
that.
huge trophy. And then his dad's like, he's like, Pacey says to his dad, like, I feel so good. I feel so proud, blah, blah, blah. And his dad's like, you should really enjoy this moment. You probably won't have many more like it.
Mm.
And I was like,
Right.
the fuck?
I know.
That's so discouraging and rude. I don't
Yeah.
like this
Talk
guy.
about ruining a great
A nice moment that you could
moment.
have shared
Yeah.
together. And now it's spoiled.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Like,
Yeah.
why? Why would you say that? Why? Because the dad wanted the glory of catching the
Yeah,
fish?
it's
Did he
probably,
resent
yeah.
Stacy?
It's probably the same, like what the dad would have done if he beat him at darts. Just like,
Probably, yeah.
insult him, or I don't know, make him
Yeah,
feel
maybe he feels
terrible.
like he's being replaced by the younger generation. I don't know.
Ooh,
I
maybe
can't
like
with these
Joey's,
old men.
like Joey feels replaced by Jen. Could be.
Maybe.
It could
It
be.
could be.
Yeah.
He's his youngest son, and he's gonna be graduating. I don't know.
Yeah. We
And
could
then
play some armchair psychologist.
Yeah, for sure. I could do it all day. But Dawson, he does a good friend thing here. He goes up to Pacey and he's like, there are people in your life that recognize and respect your talent and intelligence. One of them is standing right in front of you, and the other one is having a perky fit thinking about you coming home.
Yeah.
And then Pacey smiles a little.
I know. That was that. Yes. Good job, Dawson. You finally got it.
Yeah.
You just have to, yeah, like, just, I feel like if people just stop thinking about themselves, start thinking about what other people are going through, yeah, can make the world a little easier. So
Yeah.
he did a great job there. And I think that was what I was going to say, the great band name. I don't remember if we were talking about this on the pod or before the pod, Mary.
I think it was before.
Oh, okay. Well, listeners, we were talking and I was saying there was one quote in this episode that would be a great band name. And I thought Perky Coronary would be a good band name.
Oh, very good.
Don't you think? I could go to a show, Perky Coronary.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like
fun.
it.
Yeah. And then I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the next scene was with Dawson and Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're going home back to Dawson's house now. And talking, and they're having kind of like a heart to heart, and it sounded like Dawson was kind of listening to everything Pacey and Jack were saying, like, you have it really good, like, you should be happy. And Dawson is kind of like, Dad, basically says, like, thank you for being a good dad, which is, like, what every dad wants to hear,
Yeah, and he said, I respect you more than anyone that I know. And I know how lucky I am to have you for my father. Aww. And, like, respect is the key word of this episode. I always feel like there's, like, a key word or theme. And today's is definitely respect. R-E-S-P-C-T. That was a Michael Scott joke.
That Michael Scott, yes.
So yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful moment. They hug. Mitch is getting teary-eyed. Then Mitch accidentally and kind of tragically goes to walk into the house and stops himself and turns around and leaves. It's very sad.
I know. I almost cried. I did draw a little crying emoji in my nose. It was so sad. I was like, go inside, Mitch.
Yeah,
I still ship Mitch and Gail. I just want it to work out.
I know. You do ship them, yes.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of skipped it earlier, but Gail has a moment with Joey where she says that she thinks of her as a surrogate daughter. And I was kind of taken aback by that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, especially because Joey's the reason that Gail had to come clean.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she did, I guess, like, she knew her since she was, like, 7, so she didn't know her quite a while.
But Joey always feels so awkward around Gail.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like they're that comfortable around one another, so... I mean, it's a very sweet thing to say, but,
Right. Yeah, but you're right. Like, they never seemed, like, close, like, oh, hey, Joey, like... joking around.
She's always like, hi,
you know what I mean?
Hi, Mrs. Leary, and like that's all she'll say. She doesn't really.
Yeah, like they just hang out in Dawson's room, not like in the living room. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's not like that you see her eating dinner with the parents or anything.
Right.
So, but it's a nice sentiment. Yeah, so this episode, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It wasn't that memorable to me.
Yeah, I agree. The first time I watched it, I was kind of like bored, honestly.
Right.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
same.
yeah, they keep rehashing and rehashing and rehashing.
Yeah. Like Christine asked me, like, Mary, did you watch the episode yet? And I like couldn't remember.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, I think I did, but I don't remember what happens.
Not a good sign. Yeah.
No, not a good sign. Not a good sign. I mean,
I know.
they all can't be A plus, 9 out of 10 eps.
Right.
So, I mean, this pod's running along. We should cut to our dares. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Did you do your dare?
I did not.
Oh. I was like,
did I psych you out? I
Yeah, I
had
thought
really
you
hard
did.
ones. I had really hard ones. Sex, the ultimate mystery. Well, I can't bring that up. Do you like to bounce? Come on. You gave me tough ones.
If you went dancing, you could have said you like to bounce.
I did go dancing, but I forgot.
Yeah, I know it's hard to remember.
But I was bopping around, but I really just, it slipped my mind, so I didn't do them. Christine, did you?
Oh, Mary, I did not do mine either. No, I was having a tough time remembering what they were, and I did not go out. And mine were, two of them were really flirty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've got a hot little angle.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you have to say it to a specific person in a specific situation. And
Right.
who do I have to sleep with to solve this mystery?
Oh, yeah.
Which is also pretty tough. And then keep it on the QT, which I might have been able to say, but I don't know what the QT means, so it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I don't know. Well, for this week, I'm going to give you ones that are a little bit easier.
Ooh, that's nice.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 2.
Get my pen ready here.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so you can say, you are not on a Carnival cruise.
Oh, okay.
Or you can say, secret's out, they don't exactly call me Ishmael. Or you could just say, don't exactly call me Ishmael.
Oh, they don't exactly call me Ishmael.
Mm-hmm. 2 options for you.
I do love...
You love Moby Dick.
Moby Dick. I do.
Isn't it your Twitter handle?
Yes, it is. It's Moby Dick 6.
All right, hit me with my dares.
They don't exactly call me Ishmael. All right, Mary, let's see what we got here. Quote-wise.
I always get so scared.
You get scared. No, don't be scared. All right, I'm going to give you one. Hopefully you can do this at the bar if you go to the bar this week. I think darts may be my destiny.
Oh, God.
So if you like darts, if you really do well at darts.
It's not going to a bar. It's going to a bar with darts and doing really good at it.
Yeah, it's true.
And remembering the dare.
Mm-hmm.
So impossible.
So that might be a tough one. It might be a tough one. And what else do I have written down here? I'll give you 3 because this other one's a little tough too. You could say, I'm going to give you one similar to one you gave me last week. I like that cameraman's angle, if you know what I mean.
Well, Christine, I have to be around a cameraman.
I know. I don't know how. We'll have to find a cameraman with a good angle.
God.
But you're in New York. There's a cameraman all over.
Or just, talk about it when I'm watching a TV show or movie and there's an interesting angle.
Oh, hey, that's a creative way to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That seems okay. And then I'll give you a third one, just because I love it. Shaking hands with the unemployed.
Oh, Christine.
I thought the only quotes I wrote down. This wasn't a very quotable one.
It really wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't write a lot down either.
It was tough, yeah.
If our listeners were gambling people, they could put odds in Vegas.
Yeah, it would be
I bet they would bet against us.
They would win 99.9% of the time.
Oh, man.
Oh,
All right,
man.
listeners. Well, thanks for hanging with us. And, hopefully next episode will be more quotable.
Yeah. I mean, the murder mystery one was just like gold in my mind.
Yeah.
It was tough
Agreed.
to top. It was just hard to follow that one. But I'm excited for next week.
Same.
Every week I'm excited for next week.
Will Joey and Jen be friends? Will anyone lose their virginity? Can't wait to find out.
Will Jack finally get some balance and coordination? Oh, man,
question.
listeners, we're on the edge of our seats. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, and we will catch you next week. And don't forget to tweet at us.
Yeah, tweet at us.
At Dawson Cries. WAH Dawson Cries.
Bye.
Bye, listeners.